Hey guys and girls, Nathan Birch here. Just wanted to reach out. Had some of the community ask some questions. One of the questions was, can we get Nathan to talk about the 18-year-old version of himself? It was my birthday the other day. This question came in afterwards. I'm 36 now, so I've been investing for half my life as of this year. I feel old, but it's been a fun journey, and it's my life, and I know no different now. A couple of questions that came through is, why did I first start investing in a property? What was I thinking, and what were my fears back when I first started? And any sort of advice to the 18-year-old version of myself. So for me, why did I get started in investing in a property? When I first started investing, I was 16, my dad had a heart attack, died, and I thought, life's pretty short, right? And I was thinking, I've failed every grade from kindergarten to year 12, and I thought to myself, I'm going to be spending the next 40 years of my life having to hustle, work, 2 jobs if I had to, and the average wage at the time was about $40,000 a year. And I was like, hang on a second, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem like a nice life. And people get caught up in all these traps of consumerism and stuff like that. How can I have a better life? And I thought to myself, rich people have property. I want to be rich. Property is a good vehicle, and that's why I started looking into property. And I thought, if I could just buy 10 properties by the age of 30, I was 18 when I bought my first one, and I thought it was impossible to get to 10 because I'd never seen anyone do it. There was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no realestate.com, there was no resources, there was nothing out there. It was the fucking Stone Ages. I was 13 when I got excited by property because my brothers were buying properties to live in because I was the baby. And then I was, in 2002, I was getting my first job, and I thought, I want to have a property by my birthday when I turn 18. And there was no internet back then, so things were very different. I thought it was impossible to do so, and I had never seen anyone do it. But I just drew out a simple plan. I thought, if I could get a property a year and have 2 years where I screwed up and I didn't buy a property, by the age of 30, at some way, I'll be either able to sell off a couple of properties and pay out my debt, or I could have 10 properties that, if the cash flow goes up, I can have $100 per week rent. Times 10, that's $1,000 a week, that's 52 grand a year. I'll be getting an average wage for doing nothing. So I thought, I'll do whatever it takes in order to get myself to that position. And I just hustled and worked 2 full-time jobs. And I'd seen my family struggle. My family's no silver spoon in my mouth. I thought, when I die, I want to have a silver spoon in my mouth then. Hopefully no one puts one in my mouth when I'm dead. But, I thought, I didn't come from, an entitled life. I want to create a life which is good, where I can have choices and freedom and do what I want, when I want, how I want. Always got into trouble when I was younger because I didn't fit into the system and didn't fit into what I was being told to do. I just thought, property is a good vehicle. I had a strategy, I had a clear plan. I treated my investing like a business. I thought it was impossible. And by the age of 21, I was able to build a large property portfolio where I got my first $1 million worth of net worth. And then from that, the GFC came. Most people were fearful of their jobs. I was fortunate enough to be able to push my rents up and lower my interest rates and tweaking a few things in my portfolio. I was able to quit my job at the age of 24 and had a passive income stream of $30,000, $40,000 a year at that point. And I thought, if I just have that passive income coming through, and then I have an active income, which I had equity from my assets because my properties had gone up, if I could take that equity that I had and do a flip once a year. So I was making passive income of 30, 40 grand a year. And then I thought, if I could make 50 grand a year from one flip, that means all I have to do is do one project a year, and I'd get nearly 100 grand a year income. And then as I started doing some projects, I was like, hang on a second, I don't want to sell these things off. So I just kept them, and then I pushed my rental income up to 80 grand a year within the first year, and then kept pushing it all the way up until I got $500,000 a year passive income. And then, I'll just play around with things on top from there. So I thought it was impossible to start off with. I had no mentors, I had no nothing. It was just from pure sort of determination and grit and whatnot that I was able to be able to build a strategy that worked for me. Since then, I've been able to replicate that process. And a lot of people think when I talk and the things that I've done over the years, that I'm just some crazy dude that, you know, is a bogan from Western Sydney. I think I just don't care. That's why I just throw things out there. But I'm very detailed with my systems, my processes, my procedures, and I treat everything, you know, as a process. So how can I remove risk, and how can I improve the process of what I've got, and all that sort of stuff. And that flows from end to end throughout my personal life, through my investing life, throughout my business life, and are very, very systemized. And I think that's very crucial for any scalable sort of exercise that you do. But looking at, you know, some of my fears when I first started, I had fear of failure. I remember when I bought my first property, I spent $248,000, signed a contract, went home, shit bricks, and I was like, I'm going to go bankrupt. I can't afford this. I had like 40 grand saved up for the deposit, so it was only like 200 grand worth of debt. But back in the day, it was a lot of money, and I thought that I was in trouble. I thought it was going to not work. I had all these fears. So when people tell me about the fears now, I've been there. I just don't focus on that. I look at, you know, what I'm doing along the way, and if I have processes and systems and procedures to minimise that risk, then better. So I had fears, I had my hurdles, I had lots of things against me. I was young, people didn't take me serious, I didn't have the knowledge. I had to learn the knowledge myself. I had to be fast. I sometimes injured myself, not too bad, nothing, you know, really bad out there happened, but, you know, just bumping around. Like opportunity cost was probably my biggest one. And when I look back, I've never really seen anyone in the last 20 years go, I'm so glad I sold a property 20 years ago. All I hear is, I wish I had bought more, or I can't believe that the property went up. And, if I could go and give advice to my 18-year-old self, I'm happy with where I'm at. So all the exercise that I've gone through, everything that's ever come good or bad in my life, has got me to this point of who I am today as a person. I'm grateful that I'm happy with it. So I wouldn't change too much. But I would probably go and, if I found the 18-year-old version of myself, the 18-year-old version of myself would never believe that the 36-year-old version of myself would have ever existed. It would have thought, it wouldn't have had the foresight. I never wanted to own, you know, all these properties, and I did want to, but I didn't think it was something possible. But I think that there would have been a little bit of self-doubt and a little bit of nervousness, and that's because I hadn't done it beforehand. I'd probably go and slap a few opinions out of the 18-year-old version of myself, and give that 18-year-old version of myself a bit more confidence and credibility, like, to himself, because at the start I was like a wimpy fucking kid when I first started. So I don't care now. I've got confidence. I'm cool. I'm, you know, whatever inside. But the 18-year-old version, I was like very, you know, there's some videos out there from when I was younger, like pimple face, like little fucking dweeby guy with a flat top. People might laugh at my haircut still, but with it, yeah, I'd probably just, you know, shake myself around for a little bit more confidence. But I'm happy with the result of where I've come from. And people's outcomes in their life, positive or negative, are some of the actions that they take, whether they're taking positive steps or negative steps. It's what's going to end them up to where they want to be in a direction of life, or whether they end up in a position where they don't want to end up. It all comes from the activity, the mindset, and the actions that we do. And we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have problems that come our way. I could sit here on all of my videos and tell you how shit my life is, right? How many bad things that have happened. And shit happens, right? Just because I'm Nathan and I've got properties and I'm doing these things doesn't mean that I haven't come across heaps of adversity. I've probably come across more adversity than any other person that I know out of my circle of friends and family and all that. However, life goes on, and you need to have processes and systems and procedures and, you know, strategy behind it to be able to get to where you want to be. So that's just a little bit about answering that question on the 18-year-old version of myself, why I started, and, you know, where I thought I could get to. I was hoping to get to 10 properties. I didn't think it was possible. I was able to do it far quicker than what I thought. That's why I kept just pushing my goals. And I used the motivation of the life that I didn't want to live to push myself to where I wanted to be. You see all these people out there going, be a positive mindset and think positive, put a good thing on your wall, whatever. Put a photo of your wall and, you know, kiss the wall every day and go, fuck, like, this is what I want to have. I want to have a mad car or whatever. All that stuff, good and well. But you need to focus on the shit you don't want in your life, and you need to have that as a motivator as well, to go, hang on a second, I don't want to be this person. If I take this action, I can head towards this direction. If I take this action, I'm going to head towards this direction. You've got clarity. You can make the right steps to get to where you want to be. So if you need help, building your strategy, getting yourself to where you want to be. As always, hit up the team, 1300 367 925. Send us an email at admin@beinvested.com.au. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it, and write a comment below. We'll catch up soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.